Some people are hitting the gym to get ready for the summer, but others are considering getting tattoos. Stephen Ward takes a closer look at getting inked.
Now that we've made it through the coldest part of winter, many of us are thinking about the warm days ahead. Many people start to think about getting that tattoo they've always wanted. A recent poll done amongst 18 to 25-year-olds says that 36% of them have at least one tattoo, and 60% of them believe having a tattoo will have no discernible impact on their life. Sarah Radowski is getting her third tattoo, making sure it's a practical one, and provides some advice for first-timers.
My medical alert and my name tattooed right on my wrist, so I don't have to wear bracelets anymore. Get it in a spot that is nowhere near tendons or bone. That way you can get the sensation of what it feels like to have all the needles kind of jabbing at you.
So just because your friend says he's got a wicked tattoo gun and he'll give you a great price on some ink doesn't mean it's a good idea. Getting a tattoo is a serious commitment. That's why we're here in Preston at Lucky Souls Tattoo to talk with owner Paul Oliver about the things you should know before you get a tattoo.
Sit down, shut up, and hold on. Like I said, just look for quality. Don't shop around for price. You know, it's not a pair of shoes. It's going to last a lifetime. So quality.
There are, of course, some health concerns you should be aware of. If your skin is generally sensitive, you may want to speak with a dermatologist to make sure that your skin avoids any allergic reactions or other reactions that may occur. Also, making sure that the shop is clean and using fresh needles is of vital importance because dirty needles can transmit viruses such as HIV or hepatitis C. And finally, those that think that they can have it removed at a later time need to understand that the pigments used in removing the tattoo are phototoxic and they break down toxins into our body through the UV light and or laser. So remember, check out portfolios, make sure the shop is clean and up to date with all its health checks, and most importantly, love what you're getting. For Spoke TV, I'm Stephen Ward.
Many people rely on charities to keep themselves afloat. And with cuts to startup welfare this year, many people will be feeling the blow. Daryl Vandenberg investigates what a local Cambridge charity is doing to help people.
Furnish the Future. That's the concept behind a charity on Pine Bush Road in Cambridge that takes donated furniture and delivers it for free to the needy. The founder, Sandra Hill, has been working hard with no funding or tax money.
We seem to slip and forget what's really happening in our own backyard. And it needs to be challenged. I think that people that work every day should come here and help me and take a ride and see what it's really like out there. I've had many volunteers, but nobody's really stayed.
The charity started out of a trailer, providing for families and people leaving shelters or abusive relationships with the materials they need to start a new life. It's now moved into a storage facility on Hill's property due to the amount of furniture collected. Hanan Hatet, a refugee from Lebanon, left her country to flee prosecution for having children out of wedlock. When she came to Canada, she worked minimum wage jobs and used Furnish the Future to provide for her 3 children.
I started from the zero after 4 years, and I found Sandra, even like lots of social assistance will not help, and we was living in very low income, but I want to thank her again. Thank you, Sandra. She helped me a lot, and I hope one day I can help her to help others because it's really nice and there's lots of support.
Hill is being faced with close to $100,000 in unpaid property taxes. She's applied for both a vacancy and a charity exemption and hasn't registered as a corporation or an organization.
I will take them to divisional court if I have to, sure. I have piles and mounds of communication to the city, and I've never got a response, except for this week I received a denial in a rebate for my taxes for 2010. And they're stating on it that it's Furnish the Future in 2010, when Furnish the Future did not exist in 2010 till later, November, December 2010.
The Municipal Property Assessment Corporation of Waterloo Region declined to comment on Hill's situation and said she needs to deal with the City of Cambridge, whose property tax officials also declined to comment. Mayor Doug Craig says that Furnish the Future doesn't qualify as a charitable organization.
You can't go around the rules. You have to follow the rules. That's the problem. We can't just say to somebody, you don't have to pay this tax, or say to somebody, we'll forgive you paying your water bill this month. You know, there are certain rules we have to follow. And there are certain provincial rules in terms of building codes you have to follow.
Hill used to run a trucking business before she started a mortgage company. She also uses a portion of the property for paid storage. But she keeps the focus of the building upon the charity and has received letters from both the Food Bank and the Diabetes Foundation for the impact she's had on the community. She won't back down or follow the system.
And I want them to tell me face to face why I can't run Furnish the Future. They're saying because I need to apply to Revenue Canada for a corporation charitable registration number. No, I'm not.
Hill will continue to furnish the future regardless of her tax battle with the city, and won't ever quit on her vision of reusing furniture rather than seeing it go to the landfill. For Spoke TV, I'm Daryl Vandenberg.
Django Unchained is Quentin Tarantino's latest film. It's critically acclaimed, yet many people find the harsh language excessive. Patricia Lico explores whether or not it is necessary.
Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained is the director's most commercially successful movie of his career, but has been met with an overwhelming amount of backlash. Set in the pre-Civil War era, the story depicts graphic violence towards slaves, as well as racially charged language, mainly the frequent use of the N-word. According to Tarantino, the language and behavior in the film are authentic to the time and period, and meant to further enhance the story. He believes that the controversy the movie has garnered is ultimately a good thing, as it has gotten people talking about a subject that is usually taboo in society. This begs the question, should movies and literature be used as social commentary to tackle the tough issues, or are they better as solely a form of entertainment? Dr. Dana Weiner, a professor of African American history at Wilfrid Laurier, says that the frequent use of the N-word in Django is for the most part historically accurate.
It would likely have been in wide usage in this time period. Tarantino's characters are using it in the way that many people would have in this time period. And similarly, the film Lincoln has caught less slack for its use of the term, but it also does use it to a smaller extent and in a historically accurate way as part of the debate about rights, in the case of Lincoln, for African American people. So it was a widely used term.
But how much of an offensive topic is too much in filmmaking?
Language that is offensive to people is risky. And has it been risky because he wants people to come in? Is it controversial because he wants people to see the movie? You know what? It's probably they probably are, because there's a market machine behind that as well. You throw in, you make the film R-rated, or people want to see it because there's something in there. Would I make something like that? No, I wouldn't. I can't.
Ashley Taylor, a DJ for The Basement at Radio Laurier, a show that focuses on African society and culture, believes using the N-word is sometimes necessary in movies, particularly Django.
If it wasn't said, then it wouldn't make sense for this type of film. And because the white slave master they were like that. He had to say it, and his context, to me, it didn't make it uncomfortable.
Regardless of whether using the word is factually correct, we have to take into account people's emotional reactions to the racially charged words.
One of the reasons that people do use it in historical period pieces is it provides a convenient shorthand, a shortcut to really tap into people's emotions and raise the stakes for their audiences. You know someone using that word is, in the modern day, that's a shortcut for this person is a bigoted person. It's very convenient sort of button that they can push.
Like, personally, the word makes me uncomfortable. So when you have a person who's not even supposed to be saying it, I don't believe that even black people are supposed to be saying it. So it just becomes an elephant in the room for me.
Although reactions to the controversial nature of Django have been mixed, it's agreed that in no way is the use of the N-word glamorized. To some, the repetition of the offensive word is not only seen as tolerable, but as commendable. Perhaps seeing it used in such a negative way acts as a deterrent.
That it gives people the okay to kind of come out of the theater and maybe say it, but I think many people came out of that noticing how much it was said and how horrible the word was used. So maybe it kind of had the reverse effect.
For Spoke TV, I'm Patricia Lico.
The Kitchener Rangers had a 3-game homestand this weekend. I had a chance to speak with them at the Kitchener Auditorium. The Rangers welcome the Guelph Storm to the Kitchener Auditorium. We'll pick things up in the first, where Radek Faska snipes home his 8th of the season. Guelph responds with a quick snipe from the hash marks from McNaughton. Rangers on another power play where Ryan Murphy bombs home his 8th of the season. Skipping to the third, after Guelph adds 3, Matt Pummel ices it with an empty net goal to give the Rangers the 6-4 victory over the Storm. Sunday, the Rangers welcome the Saginaw Spirit to town. In the first, Ryan Locke plays Johnny on the spot to get Saginaw ahead. After 3 hard-fought periods, the game would need a shootout. Saginaw's Greg Such goes high glove side on Gibson. Matt Pummel goes 5-hole to tie it for the Rangers. After a Rangers miss, Saginaw captain Garrett Ross must score, and he does to give Saginaw the 4-3 shootout victory. We spoke with Captain Ryan Murray about the few missed calls by the ref.
I mean, we have no control over the referees. They do their best every night to make the appropriate calls, and they're only human, so everyone makes mistakes.
And on Sunday, the Rangers welcome the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds for their final regular season home game. Greyhound power play, some great puck movement by the Hounds, and it eventually finds Brandon Alderson, and he scores to give Saginaw the lead. Tobias Reeder chips in and scores 2 quick goals on the power play. Some rough stuff sparks the Greyhounds, as in the third, all tied at 3s, Rangers power play, a bad pinch by Murphy gives Saginaw a 2-on-1 that would turn out to be the game winner, as the Greyhounds beat the Rangers 5-3.
That's all we have for you this week. For Spoke TV, I'm Kate Childs.
And I'm Chris Rook. For more campus news, visit spokeonline.com.